Hello, hello. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining. I hope everybody is doing super well. Today I am going to be doing a little tutorial for my baby bee pattern, and this is what it looks like. And this is one of my best sellers at my market, so I figured why not release a little tutorial for people to follow along. I'm going to move you a little bit closer. So this is what we're going to be making. I will also include on the screen instructions on when to switch color change for the rainbow version as well. Obviously this one's not finished, but I will include those and I will mention it as I'm working as well, but it will all be on the screen so you can pause the video at any time and still follow the instructions and know what we're doing. Let's get into the supplies that you will need. So I use Sweet Snuggles Lite and Chenille Home Slim for my bees. And for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm using black, white, and yellow just for a classic bee. Obviously, this can be made in any color and with any yarn. Just keep in mind if you use a different yarn other than Sweet Snuggles Lite like I'm showing you here, you may need to adjust your hook size as well as the safety eyes that you use to make sure that the safety eyes will not pop out from between the stitches. Next, you will obviously need some fiber fill or the filling of your choice. I use a 5mm hook, a tapestry needle, a stitch marker, a pair of scissors, and if you choose to use safety eyes, I recommend 12mm if you're using the Sweet Snuggles Lite. These work for me. However, if you don't want to use safety eyes, I just use a simple black cotton yarn to embroider all of the eyes on my bees. I don't usually use safety eyes on my some of my smaller items. A lot of parents buy my baby bees for smaller children. So, all right. So to get started, we are going to start with the wings first because this is a no-sew bee pattern. So we're going to make the wings first and they will be crocheted into the body. So start with your white yarn and you're going to make a magic ring however you prefer to make your magic ring. I personally wrap, wow, I'm out of screen. I'm not very good at this. This is the first time I've done a tutorial, so please bear with me. But I wrap 3 times and I will go under the first 2 and grab the second one, and then very loosely, if you're working with chenille yarn, the trick with magic circles is to be very loose with your first round. And then I also like to give both of the extra loops a tug just to make sure nothing gets caught on the yarn. And round 1 of the wings is going to be 6 single crochets into your magic circle. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3. Once you've done that, give the tail a little, if you've wrapped it like me, just go ahead and secure your magic circle by tightening the center, and that is your first round done. And I personally like to mark the last stitch in my rounds with the stitch marker. Some people like to mark the first stitch, personal preference. So second round is going to be increasing all the way around, so 6 increases for a total of 12 stitches. So 1, and increasing is putting 2 stitches into each of the previous round stitches. So 3, 4, 5. Okay, and once I finish my last stitch, I then move the stitch marker to the last stitch of that round, and that is 2 rounds finished. The last round for the wings is going to be a little bit different. I will pop it up across the screen so you can follow along or work at your own pace. If I go a little bit too fast, feel free to pause the video. The text will all be on the screen so you can easily follow the pattern. So the third round, you're going to do a single crochet and then another single crochet. And then in your third stitch, you're going to do a half double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. That's your half double. And then in the next stitch, you're going to do a half double crochet increase. So you're going to do 2 half double crochets into the next stitch, like so. And then in the next stitch, it's going to be a double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, and pull up a loop. So you have 3 on your hook, yarn over again, pull through the first 2. So now you have 2 on your hook, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. That's a double crochet. If that's too fast, I am happy to do like a basic stitches tutorial video. If that's something that interests anybody, please let me know in the comments and I'd be happy to do it. The next stitch is going to be a double crochet increase, so 2 double crochets into the next stitch, like that. And then you're going to work the pattern back down in reverse. So the next stitch is going to be a double crochet. And then in the next one, you're going to do your half double crochet increase, and then a half double crochet into the next stitch. And then your last 3 stitches are all going to be single crochet. So 1, 2, 3 to finish off the round. And then I take out my stitch marker, and I just do a really simple slip stitch. And you don't need to leave a long tail for this one because they will be crocheted directly in. So I just snip it, pull it tight, and there's your first wing. Now, one side will have the noodle sticking out of the center. This is the bad side, or the wrong side in crochet terms, I guess. And then the other side is the right side. This is the side that you want facing forwards when you crochet them into your bee. I will explain how to do that and make sure it's the correct way when we get there. But you're going to go ahead and make one more wing following the same pattern, and I will go ahead and pop up the full pattern for the wing on the screen while I work this wing. That way, if you want to pause, you can. And I will likely speed this up a little bit so that you're not just sitting here waiting in silence as I finish this last wing. Okay, so now you should have 2 wings made. Just getting rid of some of the fluff. There's your 2 wings made. So we're just going to set these aside for right now while we get started on the body of the bee. Now, in similar fashion to the wings, we are going to start with a magic circle on these as well. Find the end of my yarn. There we go. So 6 single crochet into a magic ring. So whatever your preferred method of doing your magic circle or magic ring is, go ahead and do that now, and then do 6 single crochet. Alrighty. That is your first round. So round number 2, you're going to do 6 single crochet increases around. And the whole body of the bee is worked in single crochet, so we won't be switching to any other stitches for this. Okay, so that is your second round finished. Your third round is going to be single crochet increase all the way around. So you're going to do 1 single crochet, and then you're going to do an increase in the next stitch for a total of 3 stitches. So you're just going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So single crochet and then a single crochet increase all the way around. Alrighty. So we are done increasing now. So the next 7, 8 rounds, I think, are all just straight single crochet, but obviously we're going to be doing some color changes in here. So for this next round, it'll be round 4. We're just going to single crochet all the way around in yellow. All right, this next round we are going to change colors. So I'm going to show you guys how I do my color changes when I'm working on anything that has a color change in it. So at this point, if you're making a yellow and black bee, you're going to switch to black. If you are making a rainbow bee, you are going to switch to pink for this next round. So how I do it is I take my hook out and I actually insert it back into 2 loops of the last stitch, basically undo the last stitch and have 2 loops on my hook, and then I finish the last stitch of the previous round with the new color. So I will just I like to leave a little bit of a tail on the inside because I will knot together my ends on the inside before I close it up, but finishing the stitch with the new color is how I usually do my color changes. So now you're going to do if you're doing the black and yellow bee, you're going to do 2 rounds of single crochet in black. If you are doing the rainbow bee, you're going to do 1 round in pink and then color change to orange and do 1 round in orange. All right, so I'm about to color change, so I'm not going to finish this last stitch. And I am going to be switching back to yellow. If you're making the yellow and black bee, switch back to yellow. If you're doing, well, actually in both cases, the rainbow bee, the next stripe will also be yellow. So you will switch back to yellow as well. So go, and in this round, we will also be attaching our wings. So you're going to do 6 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you're going to grab one of your wings. Now, as I was saying before, the part with the noodle sticking out of the center is going to be the wrong side. So you want the end with your tail where you fastened off facing away from you, and press the right side of the wing to the body of the bee and let your tail, wherever your tail is fastened off, lined up with your working edge of your bee. So in order to connect these together, you are going to insert your hook into a stitch on one side of where you've fastened off, and then insert your hook into the next stitch on your bee body. So you're going your working yarn on your hook and then insert through the wing and through the next stitch on your bee body. And then you're just going to work a single crochet as normal, like so. And you're going to do that 2 more times. So I like to try to insert my hook right below where I've fastened off, and then into the next stitch on the bee and work another, and work another single crochet. And then one last time, repeat that process, and make sure you're picking up both of the loops from that outside edge of your wing as well, just to make sure it doesn't pull a little bit. So that is now attached to your bee, and you're going to repeat the same exact process with the second wing as well. So again, the wrong side needs to be facing you with the tail end lining up with the working edge of your bee body. So again, insert your hook to the right of your fasten off on the wing, and then through the next stitch on the bee body, and just work a single crochet. And then, as I said, I like to get right underneath where I fastened off so that the tail gets tucked in really nice. And then through the next stitch, and then repeat one more time to really get it fastened on there. So it's 3 stitches per wing, and now you have your wings attached. So now we're gonna do 6 more single crochets to finish off the round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that is the round that this is round 7 that you have used to attach your wings. And of course, like I said, all of this will be written on the screen as well, so you can follow it along. All right, so if you're doing the yellow and black bee, stay with your yellow working yarn and do 1 more round of single crochet stitches. If you are doing the rainbow bee, at this point you would switch to green and do a round of green single crochets. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, for the black and yellow bee makers, we are back to a color change. And I like to just go ahead and just tuck the tails inside. Leave these 2 tails on the wings outside of the body, because you're going to use these later to tack the wings down in the back like that. So now we are going to switch back to black. If you are working on the rainbow bee, you're going to switch to blue. Let's do a round of single crochet in black or blue. And at this point, if you are working on the rainbow bee, you will be now switching to purple. But for the yellow and black bee makers, do 1 more round of black single crochet. Alrighty. Now at this point, I would go ahead and insert, if you're using safety eyes, go ahead and insert your safety eyes. I like to put my safety eyes in between rounds 2 and 3. And I just kind of set the wings where I want them to be and insert them like so. And then obviously put the backs on. If you are embroidering your eyes, you can either do that now in this stage, or you can wait until you're done. I usually wait until I'm done just so I can get a good idea of what the bee is actually going to look like when it's finished. before putting my eyes on. So at this point, we are going to switch back to yellow for everybody, including the rainbow bee people. So I'm going to do the color change first to finish off that last stitch in the previous round. And then at this point, you can also clip your black yarn, because we will not be, or your colored yarn, whichever you are using. Go ahead and clip that off just to make your project a little bit easier to work with. And I am going to knot my two black tails together for a little bit of added security. If I was working the rainbow bee, I knot together all of my ends as I go. So every time I color switch, I'll go ahead and clip the yarn, the working yarn, and I will tie off the ends. And I just carry the yellow all the way through on both, just to make it a little bit easier, so I'm not stopping and starting and cutting yarn and having to knot off. So just depends on personal preference. That's just the way that I do it. You do not have to do it that way if you don't want to. It's totally up to you. All right, so for round 11, we're gonna do another round of single crochet all the way around in yellow. All right, you can start stuffing at this point if you would like to. I usually wait until I start decreasing just so it holds the stuffing in a little bit better. So round 12 is going to be a single crochet and a decrease. So you're going to do your single crochet and then a decrease. I do the invisible decrease. Decrease however you prefer, whichever is your preferred method. But if you would like to do an invisible decrease, you insert your hook under the front loop of the first stitch and the second stitch. So both stitches that you need to decrease, and then yarn over and just do a regular single crochet at that point. So single crochet and decrease, and repeat that all the way around until you get to the end. All right, I'm just gonna loosen that stitch really quick, and I'm gonna take some of my polyfill and we're gonna start stuffing this guy. Now you don't want to overstuff because he'll get a funny shape. I don't know if you noticed, but on my rainbow bee, I had tighter tension towards the end, so he has a bit of an odd shape to him, and it didn't help that I overstuffed his head a little bit. So don't make that mistake like I did. Just kind of pack it in, but don't make it so that it bulges out to the side too much in any one place. So it needs a little bit more stuffing. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. So now for the final round, it is going to be just a decrease the entire way around. So again, if you want to do the invisible decrease, use the front loops of the two stitches you are decreasing over and just do a standard single crochet like so. And you're going to do that all the way around until you get to the end. And for the last one, I just like to take out the stitch marker just because it makes it a little bit easier to maneuver in the tight proximity. So that was my last one. So now I go under the next stitch and I just do a simple slip knot, fasten off, and then snip the yarn and pull all the way through and tighten up. And that is the body of the bee. So now we're going to finish this guy off. So grab your tapestry needle and thread your tail through, and then I use the front loops or the outside loops, whichever way you want to look at it, of that last round to seal this off. And I go in through the outside in and then back out like this through the next stitch, and I just repeat that until I get all the way around, and then it should just pull tight afterwards. But I just use the outside loops and then pull tight and fasten off however you normally fasten off. And once you've fastened off, hide your tail. And I like to thread it almost all the way to the other side to make sure I leave a long enough tail so it doesn't work itself out very easily. And just tuck that back in. And that is the body finished. And now we will take a look at the wings. So, fluff. So we want the wings to be tacked back to give it that kind of cartoony, like bumblebee look. So I guess I had a tail end in there when I was working with that yarn. But go ahead and take your first wing, and what I like to do is I just push it, like lay it naturally back on the body of the bee. And if you look closely, wherever the tail is above these stitches on the body is where I insert my needle. And I just choose an arbitrary stitch to come out of towards the back of the bee, like so. And now that has pulled the wing back to give it that cartoonish look. So we're going to repeat the same process with the second wing and pull the yarn tail through the same exit point that we pulled the first wing through. That's important so you can fasten off and tie it, because I tie these tails together to fasten the wings down. So again, just fold it back naturally so that it gives you the look that you want, and then look from the back at wherever that yarn is touching the body of the bee. Insert your needle and then come out the same exit point that the other tail came out of. And then at this point, we're pretty much done. So just tie your tails together fairly well, not too tight, because just like what you just saw, it'll pull the wings back a little bit, unless that's the look you're going for. But I like to tie mine 2 or 3 times at the very least, just to make sure it's really nice and secure. And then I will give myself a tiny bit of tail, snip the yarn, and then you could take your tapestry needle, you could take your hook and pull the tails inside. I just use the pointy end of my scissors and just tuck the tails. And there you have it. That is, I think it's so cute. I was like, does this even really look like a bee? But I love the look of this bee so much. So this is definitely going to be how I do this from now on. So now, if you chose to embroider your eyes, go ahead and do whichever choice of embroidery you'd normally do. For eyes, I do the happy eyes, I guess, the pointy happy eyes. clip the end, tie it off, and tuck the tails, and then we are done. And my camera says that was 35 minutes, but that was with me chatting. These have been taking me about, like when I get into the rhythm of making them, they're taking me about 20 minutes. So they are a very quick make, a great market prep item. And I sell these for $10 without a single problem. These are my, like I said, these are my best sellers. I sell a handful at every single market I take them to. I make them in all of the colors that I have, pink, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple and rainbow. My best sellers are the rainbow ones. The next best seller is the yellow. So yeah, that is it, you guys. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed this pattern. If you would like a written copy of this pattern, it is also over on my Instagram as a free pattern, so you can go and save that post on Instagram as well, so you actually have it written out in front of you and you don't have to watch this video every single time that you want to create this. But for now, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you have so much fun making these cute little bees, and I hope they sell as well for you as they do for me, or if you give them as gifts, I hope the receivers absolutely love them. Please make sure to subscribe if you aren't already, and drop a comment in the comments below and introduce yourself if you're new here, and also make sure to give this video a like. So that is all from me, you guys. Happy bee making. Bye, y'all.